Guys, it is Phil Taggart here in for Mark Patterson today, and we have an expert in front of us right now, Professor Kevin. Hello, how you doing?
Good afternoon, Phil.
Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
So how's life? How's life? How are you doing? It's all good?
Life is good, yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so we're back to college. We're back in college startup mode again. So the students start in 2 weeks' time.
Right, and how busy are you in the sort of lead up to that?
Well, we do it, but we always have our research in the background.
Yeah.
And teaching is just one part of what we do, and we also work with companies. So I've had a fairly busy summer, which is good, actually.
Good, yeah, absolutely. And we've got plenty of tech to talk about, dominated by AI. With my cursory look at what we've got here today. And yeah, we're sort of starting off with Google. I enjoyed this because I was like, I saw Google fined 2.95 billion, and I thought to myself, how much would that be for me in terms of relative? And I'd be like, it would be like me getting fined like £100 or something.
They are a giant. Just alone on their ad revenue last year was $264 billion. Yeah, but saving 2.5 billion still hurts a company like that. And Donald Trump doesn't like the EU, the way they're coming down on the giants of technology, which are all generally US based again. But they're seen because, again, Google owned the platform again. 90% of searches in the UK are conducted on Google's platform. And of course, they make their money through ads. But also they have, it's a very complex ecosystem about ad buying and ad generation, but they own the kind of the portal for ads. So
I've tried to, for various different projects and things, I've tried to use it in the past. And unless you actually know how the algorithm works, and it changes quite a lot significantly, I've been told it's like posting £20 down the drain.
It's difficult, but obviously people are doing it, so it seems to work. But again, if you're not on the first page, with your
that's
results,
like the optimization of the get up to the top. Yeah, it's a definitely a difficult one. But they're based in Ireland. Do they not come under sort of? I suppose it's under EU law, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. A lot of the tech giants have their headquarters in Ireland. Again, Google and Microsoft down in Dublin. And then, of course, Apple is famous down in Cork as well. So we're kind of blessed because we're at the edge of Europe, actually, and we're English speaking and we've a highly educated workforce. So Ireland, down south especially, has really benefited from, inward investment again. But in cases like this, Donald Trump is not happy about the EU, again, coming down heavy on the giants here. But it's not the first fine. They're getting continuous fines again. And there's another fine again about another big law case coming up again about the news publishers are trying to, again, because they're losing out revenue now with the way that the biggest change in search we've seen in years and decades actually is now AI mode, which has just appeared on the Google search engine. And the thing is now, when you go to Google and you type in whatever query it is, the first answer it comes up is AI mode.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And that's their sort of answer to ChatGPT, really, isn't it?
It is, but unfortunately, so again, the BBC is not a profit organisation, but if we were, name your news organisation again, which makes money from, when they publish their stories online and they make the money from the ads and people come on the visitor side, that's all being bypassed.
What does that mean for paywall stuff though? If I type into AI, get around the XYZ paywall, can it do that?
No, there are sites you can go to, like removepaywall.com, to get around paywalls.
I wouldn't know. I've never done that before in my life.
So, but the thing is, if you were a news agency, so paywalls make their money because people go to the website and they subscribe. But of course, even they will lose out because they hope, obviously, that when people visit an article on, one of the best newspapers in the UK, the Telegraph, for instance, is behind a paywall. So they hope that X percentage of people today will visit a Telegraph because the story came up in Google and the headline, and then when people visit a site, they find, oh my goodness, it's behind a paywall, but I think I'll pay for it because I want to read that story so badly. But that won't appear. Any of those stories for the paywalls and the others doesn't appear in AI mode because Google scraped the web. They give back an answer which they think obviously is the best generated answer, but there's no real links unless really you want to follow it up later. So all the news sites do not get paid do not get cited.
So we're basically we've been seeing the death of the newspaper for a long time in terms of print. Are we now seeing the death of it in terms of online as well?
Very, very much. Again, I'm just pointing out to my son on Sunday that I said, look at that stand in a newsagent that says, Sunday, and it says that you won't see that in a few years' time. Because, and I was just saying that Sunday is where that would have been prominent in the store. There would have been so many newspapers. There was only a handful of newspapers. Yes, we are seeing it because AI mode, again, is bypassing all the news sites. They're scraping it for free, giving back the answers. And then they're just showing their own ads, which people have paid them for, or third parties.
Yeah.
As well. So the Daily Mail just reported basically a 90% drop in site visitors. The Financial Times 30%, and this search feature's only been out for a while. So again, the news publishers are really, really scared. Their business models are breaking down.
But there'll be no journalists, and if there's no journalists, and there'll be no news. It'll just be written by AI, or you'll have very left field or left or right orientated news, and it's a scary dystopian thing, isn't it?
Very much. I just walked out of a meeting where someone had to Google something, in front of our entire school, and then someone else just followed up and says, "Oh, sorry, can you just clarify that what you've just given us was not AI generated?" Because of course AI hallucinates at times.
Yeah.
Now it's getting better in some features, but that's it. What are the trusted sources in the future? Because the giants, the X's of this world, the Googles, whoever else is doing, the portals that we visit, the social media sites, they control the narrative. They control what we see. We've had the BBC for 100 plus years, and you can take, you have your CNNs, you have your Foxes, at least, even if you don't agree if they're left or right or whatever, but that they've done their research on there. We've had our Guardians, we've had the Times, New York Times, again, one of the most famous. So at least we know there's authority there. They're not going to say something, aliens just landed yesterday in New York. If they say that, we'll take it with it. We'll take it, oh my goodness. Well, then I think aliens did land in New York. But in the future, if you don't have critical thinking either, I feel scared for young people because, where will it? Because again, no one's reading anymore. All our facts come from Wikipedia, they come from the web, they'll come from search engines as well, they come from social media because, it'll be an interesting generation in a few years again. And of course, with the rise of fake news and, videos and audio being manipulated so much, it will be very difficult for a lot of people to tell, the truth from fantasy.
Yeah. And is it too far down the line for this to stop, or is it basically the boulders not running down the hill?
That's too far down the line. And then there's other words, there's so many people who believe that AI will take over the world really, and the end of humanity as well. And
well, I mean that's just the plot to Terminator, isn't it?
Very much. And it's getting a lot of friction. There's a guy, Eliza Yukodovis, and he's one of the leaders in this again. He works for the MRI Institute in America, but he believes that GPUs, which power AI, these are the gaming graphics cards.
Yeah.
Again, so they do all the grunt work for AI training models and for inference and for giving us back again. But he wants them limited to be fixed at last year's speeds that they are, but which is impossible. I mean, Meta themselves have 400,000 GPUs like this. And he also believes that data centers should be tightly controlled, and if there's even a data center which is not under regulation, which hasn't limited the use of GPUs, that the American government should be able to bomb it, But
what does this mean for me, and what does this add for our listeners? What are we going to see in the next 5 to 10 years, or if anything? It's
just that AI does incredible things, really, and the tools are getting better, like agents, even Expedia today, these sites that you go to, Travelocity, they're all really worried now because what we have is AI agents, where we say software, where you say, I want to go to, find me a holiday, you just described, find me a holiday in Donegal, or, in the south of France, for the best period where I can optimize, the prices. My kids are in school. And you don't need to say those things. So these bots, these intelligent bots, again, software should be able to work out that that you've just given us, as you're driving home, you've just given a 2-word sentence. They should be able to tell from your calendar and your kids' calendars again, because it knows that your kids are related to you because your contact's here, and their phone was pinging you last night for the last 60 days. So it has a 99% authority that those kids live with you.
Yeah.
So it works on all this. It works on the best, whatever itinerary. It's within seconds, it has Googled every travel agent, every hotel in the area, Airbnb. It knows your preferences because it also has pictures from your robot vacuum and even the ones you've shared with friends, that it knows that, that you like this type of architecture, whatever else, and just comes back. In other words, it's just like, a super assistant.
But where does it get the permission for all of these things? Like you have somewhere hit click and accept on something down the line, and that's where it's allowing itself to chat to your toaster.
Well, yeah, of course, us in this cybersecurity world, we're rubbing our hands, thinking about all disasters, because to do that, you have to give the agent, which is a piece of software, access to your email, access to all your sensitive information.
Yeah.
Even a lot of it will be your social media accounts and your WhatsApp even, so it'll be able to read everything, scrape everything. So therefore, me and my buddies and our spy team working for the national intelligence agencies, we will be developing beautiful chatbots.
Yeah.
Not even chatbots, sorry, AI agents. We'll be releasing them for free.
Yeah,
for you guys to come along, and we'll be scraping all your data.
Yeah, of course. So,
it's like the third-party keyboards people used to install years ago, which was madness. So you could get these keyboards which give you extra features, and about 15 years ago they were very common.
Yeah.
Nowadays everyone sticks to the standard keyboard that comes up on your screen on iPhone, Android. Hackers had developed these third-party keyboards, and it's a keyboard on your phone. Everything you typed was being sent back to the hacker's server. Passwords and usernames and everything else, So
I've always said this because I had this conversation with and friends. I think everybody's having these conversations really at the minute, and it would be a case of people going, oh no, I have to protect my data. I have to do this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, I'm pretty sure that they have access to everything that I have data wise anyway. And I would always be of the opinion of I don't care. Just take it all, like whatever. If you want to, suggest a jumper to me on Instagram that I'll buy, then okay, I'm not cold. But when you sort of actually burrow down into the minutiae of it, of what it's actually doing, you're like, oh, it is a wee bit scary. Like
some of it is, and you're right. There's people on opposite sides of the scale. I would be close to you actually.
I don't care. I really don't care though.
My belief system when I pass away, which we all do.
Yeah.
Everything I've done will be shouted from the rooftops.
Yeah.
So everything will be unveiled. There will be no secrets. So that's where I don't literally have too much worry about privacy. You wouldn't believe what I would tell people sometimes, because I know everything I've done, all my deeds will be revealed at one day in the future. Mm-hmm. But I also have a family member very close to me, and there's times I had to take my smartwatch off and put my phone outside the car to have a conversation, because they're on the opposite end of the scale.
Yeah, well, that's true as well. Like I have family members on the opposite end of the scale where, they don't trust technology at all. In fact, we were just talking about a film that featured a 94-year-old bachelor who lived out in the country, and probably in terms of the technological revolution and what could happen in a bad way, he's probably the safest person on the planet.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to have to do? Am I going to have to move to a log cabin? That's what I'm saying.
It's always a cat and mouse game. Regulations kind of increase over time, and our computers get safer, but also hackers get better. So it's always a cat and mouse game. Again, there's things companies cannot do now that they could have done years ago, because regulations have come in and said, look, you must encrypt data. You can't take passwords anymore and have it. If someone gets it, it has to be encrypted. You have to let the users know what you've gathered. If they want to find out what they have, you have to give it to them. So these regulations crept in over time, but technology moves so fast, it's very difficult to keep up with it as such. But and then the techniques get better, for hackers again, and AI is helping them again craft better emails now, phishing attacks, everything else. So again, it's always a cat and mouse game, and the less sites you visit online, the safer you are, the less passwords you have out there, the less accounts, whatever else. But to live in a modern era, to be productive, really, depending on it's impossible not to have a computer or a device. And most of us we have passwords on hundreds, some of us thousands of sites.
I lost my phone for a couple of days and couldn't get into anything because everything's too two-key verification now.
It's two-factor authentication.
Yeah, two-factor.
Yeah.
And I actually lost it up here. It's probably here somewhere. But I couldn't get in, didn't I?
It's very complicated. If you lose your device where your password manager's on, you have a lot of steps to go through to get back into your accounts as well. Very much.
Is it got to the stage where governments should really be thinking about going? Look, technology has gone as it's going so fast that it's maybe going too fast, but.
There's nothing you can do. And I would like governments to have a light touch, because just give an example of the daftest decision ever was. The cookie law. Every time we go to a site, we have to pop these pop-ups. So what's that about? That is about as if, effectual as a chocolate, teapot.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for security. It just all of us in Europe now, they don't have it in the United States. They weren't that stupid. So every one of us, when we visit sites, we have to click through these pop-ups all the time, wasting our time, wasting energy, just being frustrating, and it does nothing for security. But what they did later with the GDPR,
yes,
we're all familiar with that law. They came along and put the onus back on the providers. What the European Commission should have done that many years ago was say, look, just whoever has data, we hold them accountable if they pass it on to third parties, which is cookie law all describes this, or if they don't encrypt it, they don't keep it safe, and they can only gather the information they need to do lawful processing. But if any company or any individual with a website or anyone in technology breaks those rules, we will fine you. That's all they needed to do, instead of putting a pop-up warning, which is there probably forever, wasting all their time. That's what happens.
And wasting a lot of data energy, which is not good for the environment as well. That's
where politicians got involved without understanding technology.
Yeah.
A bit like the UK government just lately again. They've had to roll back, embarrassed, with their trying to get Apple to remove encryption.
Okay.
Which is impossible.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a back door. If the back door gets leaked to foreign intelligence, to hackers again, you cannot do that. They didn't listen to the technologists, but now that they finally have, they've had to roll back in embarrassment and say, no, okay, we're not asking Apple to do that anymore.
Yeah, it feels like maybe people have to go in and sort of explain with crayons to some of these people what exactly is going on. I have a question, right? And I'm certain that you'll know the answer to it. When I'm sitting beside my girlfriend and I'm sitting looking at something on my phone and I'm like going, look at this rug, this is a lovely rug, wouldn't it be nice in this room?
Yeah.
And then 2 minutes later the website for rugs comes up on her phone.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But like how? Because like she hasn't searched it, it's not been on her phone. How does that happen?
Well, a third party again, because generally, quite often we're logged in to sites through Google, or we're logged in through the Facebook login. That kind of interstitial page you get, or even X allows you to log into sites, and Apple does too. So again, but Apple are fine. These things are passed on to third parties. Google, you wouldn't believe how many indicators Google, for instance, or Meta know about us. They know they know the ID of your phone. They know the ID of your girlfriend's phone. No, they might not know her name.
But are they listening? Like, is the microphone
through the
open?
Bluetooth. They've gathered the Bluetooth location, and you're both connected to the same Wi-Fi access point.
Okay, right, there we go.
All those indicators again.
Yeah.
So they don't necessarily know your name or the girl. Well, they do if you're a Meta, but they know that your devices are in close proximity to each other all the time. In fact, and also they'll know also you're probably in the contacts and that social media side.
Yeah.
Your email again depends on which login you have, but you probably are constantly logged in and remain logged in on Google and Meta and maybe X and Facebook, and they're all gathering these indicators again. They can tell from, you wouldn't believe how many indicators they have. It's down to an art.
And does a VPN help with any of this?
So the list, I will say, the devices don't listen.
Yeah.
There has been cases again with Amazon Echo, whatever, but no, that was all.
That was a couple of years ago.
That was more being sent to third parties without correctly informing people. They don't listen. They have enough information about that, and they know how intrusive that would be. That their company would be stormed by the public in the morning. So they don't listen on that case. But what they do is track. And not every site does, but the main advertising ones as well. Sorry, you were. So I thought you were going to say something.
No. Sorry, go ahead.
So no, they do all that, and also as well, but we also forget that, because I've had people saying, look, I went to whatever and I did this, and then I came home and this item appeared in my feed. So therefore, the device had to be listened to me. And I say to the person, well, and in one case, did you go to a shop and did you buy that item somewhere along the way? Because credit card companies and banks for years sell our data on to third-party providers, that they know all our purchases. You know, anyone who uses a Revolut app, which is fantastic again. I mean, that's incredible intelligence.
Yeah.
There again, you know, but credit card companies track everything we do and they make a lot of money by selling on to third parties. So we were tracked before the internet again, but no one really gets up in arms about credit cards.
Yeah, like exactly. But I mean, we don't really sort of think about that we've been sort of tracked and marketed to our whole lives. Like, I mean, we're literally just little bank machines running about the place.
Again, because Facebook is free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing's free on the internet, really, is it?
No, it's not. No.
On that light note, I think can we end?
Some things are free.
I was going to say, can we end on a light note? Give me, what's the sort of like technology light note that we can travel off into the distance with on today?
Well, today I'm looking forward to a 6 o'clock UK time. Apple are unveiling, and they do a great presentation every year. They're going to be unveiling the latest iPhones and AirPods and whatever else that they have, and maybe something up their sleeve. So that if you just go to apple.com at 6 o'clock this evening, you can see their keynote and their unveiling of products. But it'll be all over the news tomorrow, I'm sure.
Are you one of those people that rushes out to buy the latest gadget?
No, I don't, because I find iPhones or in most phones now last for years. I'm 4 models back with my iPhone, and there's no real feature in the new ones, even though they slightly get a better battery life. They get a
kind
better
of changed
resolution.
a little bit though, hasn't it? Because when they first came out, they lasted for years, and then after about 7 or 8 models, they started. You nearly need to change them every year and a half or so. Now they last a little bit longer again.
No, you shouldn't have to, because generally the resolutions get better again. That's where in the future people also think electricity will be actually free. Believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe because the efficiencies in our data or in our chips as well. But no, I haven't seen enough features that I need in the newer one, so I don't have to. You know, I mean, it's not like nowadays every phone looks the same. There's no kudos in having, you know, a good phone. But
is there a revolution around the corner? Because I watched. Have you seen the BlackBerry movie?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I watched the BlackBerry movie recently, and I thought it was great. Like them sort of like almost inventing the first sort of smartphone in a way. But like, you know, obviously we all know what the BlackBerry and being able to physically type on the keyboard, and then Apple came along, and you had the keyboard on the actual phone.
Yeah.
But like, you know, obviously not a physical keyboard. Like, surely we've had this like design of a phone for your Samsungs and your Google phones and your Apples for quite a while. Like, I wonder, is there another revolution?
It's hard to see, because even 10 years ago I was saying that's the final form factor is what we say, because we do like a screen in front of us. Wearables, the glasses that they have are quite good. You know, of course you can have voice interfaces, but it's very hard to beat something where you can lift it up visually and see, and then you have obviously the best camera is the camera you always have with you, which they have. No, I can't see it. I mean, we're moving of course to the flippable phones and the larger screen, which is a good idea. I mean, who does want a large screen? But again, they're a bit awkward, a bit bulky at the moment. So I do see probably that our screens will be foldable, flippable and expandable to some degree. But again, there's always a trade-off for with these devices. But I can't see anything coming along really beating like just the final form.
I think maybe the plan was it was going to go to a watch or go to the glasses or something. I
find the Apple Watch useless. I know if you're into fitness and tracking every single thing, that's okay. But I found I had to charge it every night when I wanted my sleep to be tracked. Yeah. So I find the Apple Watch pretty useless.
But do we not track too much? Do we not track too much? Like, I feel like if I track my sleep and I'm tracking my run and tracking this, that and the other, I'll be sending myself to an early grave, just panicking about all the various different things.
If it motivates you to be healthier,
yes.
If it motivates you to take those extra steps every time without going to sleep stressed, again, definitely nothing beats keeping your health, you know.
Well, that's it. But so some people would if you've got health anxiety or something and you're going to bed monitoring your blood pressure or your sleep, it might not be good for you. Do you know what I mean?
But no, I find apart from the tracking and a few notifications online, and sometimes when you're walking with your phone in the city, it can give you navigation directions. But I was constantly charging all the time, so I went back to a dumb smartwatch. Or a dumb watch, you know, and so I didn't find it productive. You know, I put everything through a lens of, is this helping me be more productive to, be better at my job? If not, no, get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. Professor Kevin, thank you so much for coming on to the show today. Thanks for coming in. Nice to meet you as well.